Let's say you're walking along a riverbed and something catches your eye. Wow, it's a fossil! But how did it get there? And what exactly is a fossil? A fossil is the trace or remains of an organism that lived in the past. Now that we know what a fossil is, how are they made? For remains to fossilize, they must somehow be protected from predators and bacteria so they do not break down and decay immediately. Let's say that the organism that made our fossil passed away in water. The flow of the water moves sand to cover the body of this animal. Since it is buried, other animals and bacteria leave it alone. Over time, the water around the organism carries minerals that get deposited or left behind in the tiny spaces of the body parts of the animal. As the body part of the animal eventually rots away, these minerals harden and stay in place, thus preserving the original shape of the hard body parts of the animal, like bones and teeth. When a fossil forms like this, it is called permineralization. However, fossils from living creatures can form in many different ways. In fact, not all fossils even have to be body parts. They can be plants, molds, casts, or traces of an animal doing something in the past, like creating a footprint, or even poop. Discussion question number 1. What can fossils tell us? People who study this prehistoric life are called paleontologists. Paleontologists can learn a lot about the Earth and its past based on the fossils they look at. Here's an example of how a paleontologist might use fossils to learn more about the pre-existing world. Well, let's say we're looking at layers of rock that have fossils in them. The layers of rock towards the bottom have trilobite fossils, but when you look at the top layers of rock, there are turtle fossils, but no more trilobites. If a paleontologist saw these rock layers, they would be able to figure out a few things from the fossils they saw. First, geologists and paleontologists have learned that rock layers usually form from the bottom to the top, which means that the bottom layer is the oldest and the top layer is the youngest. This means that paleontologists will be able to know how old the fossil is based off of other fossils found in the same area. They can also tell the paleontologist the approximate age of how old the rock layer is. A paleontologist might think about what environments these fossilized animals once lived in. For example, the fish fossils at the bottom layer tell us the area was most likely underwater. However, the mammoth fossils at the top tell us that this area was also once dry land. Over time, the Earth changed. Places that were underwater may eventually become dry land. Fossils can tell us a lot about these changes that happened over time. Finally, the paleontologist might notice that the fish fossil is only in the oldest rock layers and disappears towards the upper, younger layers. This means that the fish species probably went extinct. Discussion question number 2. Why do you think some animals aren't alive during different periods of time? When an animal goes extinct, it means that all species of that type of animal are no longer living and can no longer be found on Earth. Being a paleontologist is a lot like being a detective. A small bone or shell may tell us a lot about the organisms that lived on Earth millions and millions of years ago. What else do you think fossils could tell us?